Acknowledgements. Welcome to my book release on Tales of Socorro. We are having a small program today just to release the book, and I welcome the chief guest for today's program who has consented to release the book. He is Dr. Meenakshi Martins. Dr. Meenakshi Martins needs no introduction. She is a psychiatrist and well-known actor in Goa. She has acted in a number of films in Konkani, Marathi. She has been into various institutions. I won't go into it, but I watched one or two of her films, and that's why I remember. She is a daughter of the Comunidad, the Gaonkari of Serula or Shiroda, and her late father, Dr. Francisco Martins, the freedom fighter of Goa, was my mother's teacher. That is how we are related. Long before she was born or I was born, we had a relationship with her family. And her father was my mother's science teacher in St. Joseph's High School, Porvorim, in the 40s. And she spoke a lot about him. As a child, I heard my teacher, Francisco Martins, said this and that, and she was fascinated about what the things he said. Some of the things I have mentioned in my book. She is also a great-granddaughter of one of the characters in the book, Polio Papa of Maina. And when I told his grandson about her, they were excited. Even the cousins in America, at least somebody from our family is representing, we are happy. And also her cousin Marlene is here from Maina. Needs no introduction. I am very grateful to her for gracefully accepting to be the chief guest today and to release the book. I welcome Advocate Suresh Lotlekar, well-known advocate of Porvorim, my classmate, and Suresh might sound and my neighbor. He knows all about me. He knows all about the village, born and brought up in Porvorim. He was also the president of the Comunidad of Serula. He was the president of the Betal Maharudra Sansthan in Porvorim, that Sangot Karin temple, and a number of things. He's been into many things which I'm not going into. He's well known, and he was. I'm grateful to him for being present here. I request Indika to please present him with the rules. I welcome also Mr. Sanjeev Sardesai. Sanjeev Sardesai is no stranger to him. I know him as a little boy in our village, cycling and running around the bylanes of Porvorim. He is born and brought up in Porvorim. Although he doesn't belong to our Gaonkari, he is every inch a Gaonkar and lived there in Porvorim. His father was running the local Farmácia Socorro. He was the producer in Portuguese farmacêutico. And those days, remember, pharmacies in Goa were not that medicines were given over the counter. The person in charge had to be well versed in preparing the medicine in the lab with precision and a great deal of care. So those were the days. The medicine cost 1 rupee 4 and 1 rupee 12 and not 200 and 600 now. But he was well known as suave and intelligent gentleman. I am very grateful to Sanjeev because he has done everything for me. Contacting the press, he says, Edward Bob, don't worry, in this situation, you don't go to the press here and there, I will do everything for me. In this situation, he has been like my son, because my son could not come, he is in Bombay. And he has done everything for me. I am very grateful to him. I could have said many things about him. All know him because he comes regularly on various prudent media and others. He is a heritage promoter. And he shows us beautiful temples and forts and churches. And his presentation is so good, you feel you are walking with him wherever he is there. And so he needs no introduction. I welcome Sanjeev and I request Indika to present him with the rules. My companion and friend, Bimala Pinto. She was once Bimala Pinto Duruzar, also belongs to our comunidad. She's a former principal. Former, am I right? Yeah. Of Holy Family Primary School in Porvorim. And we used to sing and act in the theaters, and he must be knowing when we were children, we know each other for so many years. I just told her, come if you're free, and she said, yes, I will. And she was here as a guest. I asked Indika to present her heroes. Vivian D'Souza was supposed to be here, but probably he can't come for whatever reason. So in his place, his sister Malin is here from Maina. She's also a granddaughter of Papa Kolio of Maina in the story books. And I welcome her here, ask Indika to present her. I welcome Mr. Marcus Andrat. He never misses any of my book releases. For the last few years, he is very religiously present. And he said, I'm not inviting anyone. If you can come, yes. And he is here. So Indika, please welcome him. Mr. Sanjeev V Sardesai to make a small presentation on the book, because he must have read the book by now, and he will tell us what he feels about it.
Thank you, Vibhav, Nakshubai, and all the illustrious gentlemen, ladies who are here. In fact, I must say that before I go ahead with any of the things that I feel related to this book, that I am in the company of, I think, almost all the professions. We have a teacher, we have a doctor, we have an advocate, we have a painter, we have a teacher, and we have got the media people over here. So I think we are in the right place to explain what this book is about. This village called as Porvorim, which is part of a bigger place called as Socorro, earlier known as Shirona, which later on became Cellular. I am so proud to have been associated, being born in that particular place. It was a village at one time, but today it has become a urban area. It is neither rural, it is neither urban, it is somewhere in between. And what Mr. Professor de Lima has done is he has carved out a niche about the memories that have happened in that place, not at this time, but at a time when Porvorim was Porvorim and Socorro was Socorro. This particular place, Socorro, has given to the world a lot of people who have made a huge impact on the scenario, the social scenario. We had Leonor Ranchel Ribeiro, we had Dr. Antonio Pinto Rosari, we have got Julie Ribeiro, we have got Binola, and we have got so many other people who have made an impact in that place, that we can be proud to belong to that place. Though I don't fall in the category of a Gaonkar, but I think I've harassed too many Gaonkars over there when I was a kid. So I qualify to be. My father had a pharmacy over there. Again, related to the title of this book, Tales of Socorro, the name of the pharmacy also was Pharmacy of Socorro. And I must say, the combination of Dr. Antonio Pinto Rizar's father and my father pulled in a lot of people from all over the place, and they went back very happy and satisfied. In fact, I'm thankful to Edward Bach for his earlier book, Yesterday's Edmond, Jogging Down Memory Lane, where he mentions that he literally painted all the borders red on their hair by taking hydrogen peroxide from my father's, buying from there, and making their hair go, pink over there. So now I can be really what I call happy that there is somebody along with me. I thought I was the naughtiest person, but no sir, I have company. And many of you may not be aware that the first or one of the first ranking badminton tournaments were taking place in Porvorim at the Candelaria Chapel, Adro, over there. And many of the badminton players who made a name for themselves at state and at national level also, they were in the sub-junior category at the time. So we come from a very historic village over there. Uh, Coming to this particular book, there has been a trail of other books by Prof de Lima. Like in Konkani, he has got Spoken Konkani, a self-learning guide, a need of the hour right now, because many of the people have forgotten Konkani. Konkani made easy in Devanagari, influence of Portuguese vocabulary of Konkani language, and Konkani Oparinso Kosh. In English, he has quite a lot of books that is spoken Portuguese with MP3 CD that is being marketed. Common errors by Indian students. Yesterday's at Mont jogging down memory lane. Armand Menezes and his writings and Luis the Menezes Bratanga are going. Now these two books he has the honor of getting published by the Directorate of Arts and Culture. And like he has been one, he has a book, How to Be a Successful Teacher, and now Tales of Socorro. Before I tell you much about this book, I request his permission to tell a story. And this is related to English teacher. Now there was this English MA class going on, and one day the professor walks inside, and like the professors have got a habit, they say, now I'm going to give you a surprise test. And so I said, okay, I'm going to give you 2 hours, and you have to write an essay, that's it. But in that essay, there have to be 4 things. You take your time, you whatever you want, you do. But inside there has to be religion, there has to be royalty, there has to be sex, and there has to be mystery. 4 things. How you write it, what you write is your problem. So he says, I'm going to give you 2 hours, I'm going to go now and I'll come back afterwards. The papers are here and papers are already given to them. As he picked up his laptop and he went to the door, one student stood up. He said, sir, I have finished. So now, just like you all are shocked, so are all the other students and this professor also. So he looked back, he says, come. So he took that paper, he saw. And there was a criteria he said. He says, I'm not interested what the thing you're writing. But the point is, the point should go across with these 4 things. So when he came, he saw that, he smiled, folded it, and he went back. And when when the paper was over, they corrected everything and the assessment was done. This boy got the highest marks. Now the question was, the mystery became more. So this will use it first, and now he gets the highest mark. So he said yes. So they wanted him to read out the paper, and he read out the essay. The essay was just 1 sentence. 1 sentence, and he read all the things what he had said. And the essay was this: oh my God, open inverted commas, I have to be correct because he was speaking English, open inverted commas, oh my God, so we had religion inside. Said the princess, so we had royalty inside. Now the sex part of it. She said, open inverted comma, I am pregnant. Okay, and mystery, who could the father be? Now what had happened was, this boy had used all the 4 criteria and passed on a message with the shortest possible sentence and the most least words. Why I am telling you all this particular anecdote over here is, when I went through the book from page 1, that is indexed to the last poems that are there on the books of these Tales of Socorro, I found that the stories did not become extra to read. They were perfect. They were absolutely perfect. Now, when you read any book or when you are driving, you tend to look out and see some beautiful scenery that refreshes you to drive more. Same way, in this particular book, there are 4 beautiful scenarios. and they are created by none other than Justin Barbier, where he points out illustrations by his illustrations, and I was really fascinated by those illustrations that he has. One is about in the story of how a priest from one of the parish knows that sacristan was cheating on the funds. He wanted to teach him a lesson, and then he does something, and that's something I'm not going to tell you because I hope you read the book and understand. But once you look at that caricature, what has been done by Justin Bob, I tell you, the expression of Lorsu hanging from that altar and the father going with the ladder does not need more thing. In fact, the other one that I really liked about is the story about Kustu Papa. I think in the book there are three papas.
Yes.
One is Kustu Papa, one is Polio Papa, and one is your own Papa.
Very good.
Yeah, his grandpapa. So this Kustu Papa goes for a hunt for a boar, and there is a technique for killing a boar that also is very nicely put in this book, in this chapter, in this episode. But what really catches your eye is the anger of that Randupur in that in that caricature with that what's his name, David Misty lying under that, and then this Kushtu Papa with a gun, not knowing what to do, because either if he misses, he's going to get hold of the wrong thing. In fact, when there is a book about a village, we tend to see only that he's going to write about the village and not going to cross the border. But in this particular book, I'm very happy that Prof de Lima has traveled to the border up to Pedne. Where in one of his episodes where he mentions in a story, he talks about wants to take funds from the Portuguese, and then he wants to cheat them by doing something, and he takes the help of one Locomar. And when he contacts that Locomar tells him back in a pure Pedne language, तुम काय भिवू नको, मी सगळा करतोय, हाजेर पावला, in their own style. Now in this particular statement, I do not know whether तू खंय भिवू नाका, तू काय भिवू नाका, म्हणजे it is nothing to do with the present, काय भिवपाची गरज ना भिवनाका आमी आयकता पळय, it has nothing to do with that, but he had written that earlier for that particular thing. But sometimes when you read about mismanagement or cheating, the book, that particular episode ends in such a way that a person climbs up to a particular height, but all these misdemeanors come down and bring him to an end. That is a beautiful motto that I have found in that particular story over there. Now, in a book, when you write about a village, you tend not to try and show something that is bad about the village. But I'm very happy that he has, like in a dish, that you need a chili, because if you bite it, it becomes very spicy, but you need that chili. He has tried to put one episode, one of the chapters that is there, about Bostian, the revenge of Bostian Kaitan. How even today there are people who do not show on your face that they hold a grudge against you, but at the end of the story, you come to know about a very horrific deed that was done by this person who, when he was a child, had seen this person harassing his own mother, leading to her death. I am not sure whether this particular thing has actually happened in the village, but if it does, then I think this book tells us that we should learn from our way of handling things. I'm not going to take much time. I'm trying to end over here. Now, what I like the best about this book is he ends his books with three poems. But out of those three poems, personally, I like one which is written by Hubert Ribeiro de Santana. And the reason I like this particular poem is because this man was born in Nairobi in the year 1943. He died in Toronto in 2003. And whatever those visits to Porvorim he had, he carried back memories, and that is what everything is about. I'm going to just read the first paragraph of this that will give you an idea how wonderful this person observed the things in our village. And I quote, "Change is a stranger here. Sarried women draw water from the wells, hauling fire ropes over squeaking pulleys, and brimming brass urns come up, hung by their neck. Buffaloes, crescent horn, wallow in paddy fields." Now he has created an image of how we didn't have tap water and we hung that poor pot to remove the water. And he showed us that nature is so beautiful about buffaloes in the paddy fields. Today, after some time possibly, we may not see it except in written in books over there. Uh, I'm sure that this book needs to be a most prized possession of lot of Purvarkars, Sukurkars, and the words that are there over there. Not only for the way that it has been written, but it relates and connects us to the village that we know as Sukur. I'm sure that each one of you will carry back beautiful memories, and I wish Edward Bob amazing success in trying to, in his endeavor to carry forward the memories of this particular village called as Sukur or Serula or Shiroda to the generations yet to come. So, all the best to you. Thank you.
This is a wonderful book that has been written capturing the nuances and the essence of what a village was when, even before I think I was born. Because many of the situations that are mentioned here are akin to what I experienced as a very, very small child. Today's generation will be very, lost to understand the exact sequences of the events. Many of them, or at least some of them, would be considered to be illegal at the moment. It's like the killing of the wild boar, which is now not allowed, but which was a common situation when we were growing up. What the villages were and what has happened today, as Mr. Sardesai has explained, that our village has become now a urban village, it's defined as such. And the urbanization of villages robs it of the basic nature and the fragrance of what a village was. Of course, as we grow, things change, and the most constant thing in this world is change. And we keep adapting. When we were small, there was no electricity, there was no tap water, there was no gas even. We cooked on, the firewood. Things have changed, and the modern generation finds it so difficult to figure out what we did as children or what our parents did as children. And Professor Lima tells me that my great grandmother's brother is mentioned in this book as Polio Papa. And I think even my father has been mentioned in the book, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the other day, my father completed 100 years on the 12th of August. And
So you were like Leos, yeah.
yeah, years, yeah. So, and of course, being a prominent freedom fighter, everybody, including the government, forgot about his 100th birthday. Some of us met on a webinar and we spoke about my father and his contribution to the freedom struggle. And everyone said, there are so many things that have happened in Goa, but they are not on the net. So when you go to do research of a particular village or a particular person, we write on social media, we write on say Instagram, or we write on Facebook or Twitter maybe, but we never write in such a manner that when a person is searched for, that person is found. And people can do research or gather information about a certain situation or a certain village or a certain person, and that has not happened. So I think when we write books, like as you have, and I'm very happy to learn that you have written about spoken Portuguese or English grammar, because it is so much of importance for the next generation not to lose touch or contact with our past or who we were.
I would request Merlin to please come and receive the books. And next will present the books. Come this side. Come this side. That will be on the photo. Justin Lobo is here. He is the one who has done illustrations for my book. He is an artist, but he doesn't sell his art, at least to me. For the last 15 years, he has done illustration for at least 3 of my books. Yesterday's and Monty 2 editions and this one. And he would not accept any money. He said, if you want more, I'll do for you. Our only relationship was, he was a student at art college so many years ago when I was a visiting lecturer coming from Mapsa all the way. He and his wife, his beautiful wife Sonja is here, and they were both students there, and I was just coming and going. He remembers all that, and does all the work for me. I'm very grateful to him. He's a proprietor of a hotel, Donna Elisa, very close to the Kalamut ground, 5 minutes from the beach, and well-appointed rooms run by his family. I'm very grateful to Justino for drawing the beautiful illustrations for my book. It makes the book more readable. I would like you to receive a copy of the books from the chief. Yes. Ajit Singhbal, who is the proprietor of this place. I am very grateful to him because he helped me to organize my program here. But for your information, my relationship with the Singhbal is for a number of years. His late father, Mr. Singhbal, was my companion, and we were in the same class at Delta College. I used to come all the way walking up the steps, and he used to just walk from here. And we were in the same class. Unfortunately, he is no more, and he's been selling my books for the last 15 years here. Not only that, when his grandfather was the proprietor here, as a young student, I used to come and buy books here. So I have a very long relationship with Singhbal Book House. It's not new. I would request Ajit to come forward and please receive a copy of the book from the Chancellor Chief. Yes.
Thank you.